Hi, this is Jazz Calls Home, and I am here with.
Mathias Rexius from Rexius Records.
And today we're breaking down my new album, Cut the Line, which is out everywhere, and you can listen to it wherever you listen to music. So we're gonna go over every single song and tell you our thoughts about it. Here we go. The first song is the intro, and it's called What Do You Mean?
Hello, this is Panic Guardian. Your emotional and medical support assistant. I have tried to make an assessment earlier, but the authorities have blocked my senses. Within this establishment, as they not know who I am, and what I was built for. To them, I am a threat. I am sorry they've let you down. I am sorry.
No matter how many times we talk about this, I keep forgetting what Panic Guardian actually wants. So I do get I do get what he kind of wants in the whole message, or yeah, sort of message behind the whole idea of Panic Guardian. But it's very interesting as a concept, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so for the people watching and listening that have no idea who Panic Guardian is, when I released my first EP in 2020, I decided that I was going to have this robot alter ego that is basically a text-to-speech thing that says the things that I don't want to say with my own voice. And basically it's like a more calculated aspect of myself, a more rational aspect of myself. Yeah, so Panic Guardian was this conceptual thing that I just carried on with each of my releases, and he speaks in every single intro and outro of every single release. Except the singles, because they're singles. If you follow them chronologically, there's a narrative to it. For this album, the intro is going to display what the album is about. And the album is about several medical things that I went through, but not necessarily, they're not all medical, but mainly about how badly it was handled and just like how much I've been let down. This is what this album is about, and this is what this intro is about.
I feel like something that you're leaving out as well is that he's not only part, is it a he, by the way? Panic Guardian?
Yeah, it is a he.
Anyways.
I guess, because it's...
Okay, so he is part of not only the intro and the outro, he's also part of some of the songs, and he is actually talking in the background of some of the songs. He's not really singing, but he's doing something. He's spoken words is what he's doing.
Maybe one day he'll sing. Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see. Next up is track number 2, Fallen.
Soul in the future.
So this is a very, very cool song. I like how the structure is very pop-ish. It's built around obviously like 200 synths at the same time because there are layers upon layers, but I really like how it's built into the chorus and what am I saying really? Like it really grows just as a pop structure. So this is definitely one of the more poppy songs within the realm of Jazz Calls Home. And I really like it. And I also like the fact that you can see the video of everything that is, present in the hospital while you were there.
So this album cover and the background of the video are from a moment where it was a few days, it was like 5 days that I was hospitalized in June 2023. And you can fact check it because you can see the calendar, both in the album cover and the video, and it says June 2023. And all of these songs were written during 2023. Written and produced, even though I finished some of them in 2024. All of the bulk of this was really processed during 2023. And this song is about a dream that I had during a moment of my life where I was not happy with my life. And I dreamt that I met my future self. And she told me to go for the things that I wanted to do, basically encouraging me like, it's the same every day. There's nothing that you can lose. If you fall, you fall. And I hope I'll see you on the other side. So this is why the bridge is. I hope we'll make it to the same side. I hope you'll wait. Because before I woke up, she told me like, one day we're going to be the same person. I'll see you there. And I wrote the song when I woke up.
What is the awake and broken part about?
It was just about my insomnia. I was having a really hard time sleeping and I was crying a lot at night. I've always had a hard time sleeping, but sometimes it gets really, really bad where I will like sleep 2 hours a day for like weeks on end. And not sleeping really messes you up. Especially when it's like 2 hours a day for several weeks. So yeah, that's the bit. Like, I am so messed up right now. I might as well go for it. It cannot be worse than this. So yeah, it was really like a motivational thing from myself from the future, which is really weird and esoteric, but it's my life. So this next song, track number 3, is called I Am. And the guy here, he's featured in the song, so let's listen to it.
So basically, I like the feature on this track because obviously I played on it and now I'm sitting on my high horse. But I actually really like how this track came out. There's a lot of sort of messages in the guitar, if you will. There are some really cool, how do you say that? The guitar really speaks to the vocals or
Call
with the
and
vocals.
response.
Yeah, it is really call and response. Although I don't think a lot of people that listens to it would think that, but if you really listen closely, there's a lot of elements in here that you can hear that it speaks to the vocals. It's a little bit of a back and forth thing. And especially in the end of the guitar solo, I can't remember exactly what you're saying, but the guitar solo is saying the same thing. And
It's the take it
um,
away.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I really especially like that. And then we also went for when I initially got this from you, you wanted me to play on this track. I knew that I wanted to go hard rock or metal, because that's where I come from. Or I've been doing a lot of hard rock metal stuff in my days. So I knew I wanted to go for that, but I really think it turned out in the best way possible because it really fits the song. It doesn't stand out too much compared to the other songs on the album either. It's just a really heavy and nice song. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you probably don't remember, but the demo for this song had a completely different vibe. It was kind of beachy. It had like steel drums and like some Caribbean percussion.
I don't remember
I
that.
don't even think you remember that.
Mm.
And the fact that the theme of the song is so heavy, it had to be heavier. It couldn't stay like with the steel drums and the cool Caribbean vibe because so this song is about this was after I was in the hospital because I had a sudden pulmonary embolism, and that means that you have a clot of blood that goes to your lungs and blocks the arteries between the lungs and the heart, and it feels like a heart attack and your heart can stop and you die. And yeah.
Sorry for laughing, but it's like, and you die.
And you
Yeah,
die.
go ahead.
And most people that get this suddenly die because it happens so fast that they cannot get the medical treatment for it. And during this, I was in so much pain and I was so out of it that they gave me a certain pain medication that they were not supposed to because I had previously developed a dependency to this sort of medication because I've been sick for a while. And the doctors are not great at managing it. And the doctors had given me this as like a full-time pain management thing, which is completely wrong. So I got out of the hospital. They gave me the medicine to dissolve like a blood thinner. It went through, it passed. Like they scanned it, it passed. It was okay. I came back home and all I could think about was this medicine and how badly I wanted it again. So I wrote this song for myself, really. Just to tell myself that I was stronger than that I didn't need it, that I could handle anything, and that I could not let myself fall into something that would be detrimental to my life, really. So that's why there's a lot of like one-liners. Like I said, I'll never let no one take my life away. And I've showed this song to multiple people without telling them what it is about. And each person has like their own interpretation, but it all boils down to like self-agency. And everybody sees it as like when you're in a situation that's detrimental, you always have the power to get through it and make the most out of it and not really fall into victimhood and this mind state like, oh, all of these horrible things are happening to me, poor me, and kind of like stay in that mental state regardless of what the situation is. You always have the power to be and to overcome if that makes any sense. So this is the meaning behind the song. And this is why the song is better like this and not with the steel drums and the Caribbean percussion.
Yeah, 100%. I actually can't remember that, but I 100% agree from what you're saying. It sounds like it made a difference with the guitars and everything. And this actually, to end this off, when you received the tracks from me, I wasn't really sure if you were going to like it or not, but I feel like we really nailed it the first time around, sitting on my high horse here again. But we really nailed the sound, because it wasn't, to be completely honest, it wasn't really that easy. There's a lot, there are so many elements in a Jazz Calls Home song that you have to like battle and fight with, if you will. So putting a guitar track on this wasn't really that easy, and I think I actually messed some things up, so you had to change the chord structure a bit.
I had to change some of the harmony, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
clashing near the end.
Yeah, it was for the better, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was for the better.
Cool.
Really good song.
Yes,
I can't
for
wait
sure.
to hear what these two are gonna do next.
Exactly.
So track number 4. Track number 4 is titled Special Delivery. Let's go.
This is not at all what the song is going to be about, but for me, this song is straight up about hallucinations. And thinking about this short, polite man, and was she there last night? And there are a bunch of people in the song, or I guess it's only two, but um, it seems like it's about hallucinations, and that's probably wrong. And I also like the from one thing to another. I really, really like the scat part where it's like that, 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 that. And
Yeah.
there's a bass solo, which is so rare in music today. There's a bass solo in the background of that, a sort of solo
Yeah.
that I really like. And as always, there's a lot of things happening, and I still admire how you can do so much and still not simplify it. It's not simplified, but it still works, because that's really a hard skill to master. A lot of people would just, try and melt everyone's faces with their guitar solos and like notes all over the place, and it would just be a big mess, but you actually make it work. And so
Yeah.
there you go.
I
One of the few
I
compliments.
think getting that degree in classical composition might have helped.
Oh, yeah.
It was not worthless, definitely. Sometimes I feel like, oh my god, I wasted my time, but no, I didn't.
I mean, it
Um,
earned you one compliment from me, so yeah,
yeah,
it must have been
totally
very
worth it.
loyal.
The 4 5 years of school, totally worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
I have no debt because I had a scholarship because I'm that good.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
So yeah, that's what made it worth it too. But yeah, this song is about two specific instances in my life. It was first, it's something that happened in 2021. In 2021, I was working in old age homes, and this was like peak COVID in Canada. Like lockdowns, mandatory vaccinations, QR codes to prove that you were vaccinated, all of this. And people in old age homes had like a high risk of getting COVID, so they were not allowed visitors. So enter Jazz Calls Home playing piano for them in full personal protection equipment. Was really dystopian, really, really strange. And sometimes I was there in the morning, sometimes I was there at night. And this song, it narrates something that happened one night that I was there. So one night I was there in the lobby, there was nobody. I was really not playing, I was just sitting there. The small man is somebody that came with a delivery of medication, actually. And this is why the song is called Special Delivery. And what happened that night was that somebody in this residence passed away. While I was there, the nurses were all there, everybody was there because it's like a 24-hour care thing. And nobody noticed that this person had passed away alone in the room till next morning at 9 a.m. And they knew it was several hours because they can tell. I don't know how they can tell. It's like how stiff your body is or some weird thing like that, right? So the next morning when I get there, the nurses are talking about this so nonchalantly, like, oh yeah, that happened, whatever. And I saw so much neglect in these places that I couldn't do this job very long. I think I did it for like 2 or 3 months. I had to quit. I couldn't handle it. And this reminded me of a time where I was probably 19 years old and I was really struggling with my mental health, and I got myself hospitalized into a psychiatric hospital. I talked to my psychiatrist. I was like, I need help me out. So it was like a voluntary thing. But because when you become under the care of an institution, you kind of lose your right to say over yourself, to decide over yourself. They kind of assign that to somebody else, right? Because they assume that you're not capable of doing that. Because of circumstances that I don't want to get into right now, I ended up staying at the psychiatric hospital for a month and a half against my will, when the original plan with my psychiatrist was that it's going to be like a 5 to 7 day stay and you're going to be better, we're going to adjust your medication, whatever. So I effectively lived at a psychiatric hospital for a month and a half. And because most people were coming and going, the people that I really like kind of stayed with were the people that were living there, because they cannot exist outside the psychiatric hospital. And just like the old age home thing really reminded me of that time and how neglectful these places can be towards the people that are kind of like left there. When you are under the care of an institution, whether it's like an old age home or like a psychiatric hospital or whatever it is, it's like your fate, your choices, everything is up to whomever is taking care of you, right? And I found it really depressing. And I knew I wanted to write this song. I knew I wanted to make it like crooked. This is why it's an odd time signature.
It's in 7, right?
It's in 7. And then the scat part, it switches to 4, but it still has like that 7 polyrhythm. And yeah, it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to write this song because I wanted to make it cryptic, but I still wanted to express what it brought up in me, if that makes any sense. So it took me 2 years to figure out how to write this song, but I did it. And this is like an odd fan favorite. People have told me that they really like this one, which I found strange because it's one of the weirdest songs in the album. I thought it was going to be like one of the lowest performing ones, but people really like this song. And I'm really happy that people really like this song.
I like the explanation, or I like the message behind it. It actually makes the song a whole lot better. Because usually I'm one of those people where I listen to a song and I want to interpret the song the way that I want to hear it, or yeah, you get what I'm saying. And I'm kind of like locked into what it means to me, and I don't really want to know what it's all about or what the artist actually meant by the words or the song. But this time it actually makes the song a whole lot better. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So this is track number 5. It's titled Ghost. Here we go.
I like that last note, the last synth note that just couldn't shut up. So he like had to do one more note. It's like the guitar player in a band were like, can you all shut up? And then the guitar player is like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to play this last one. No, seriously though, the more I listen to this album, not just the Ghost, but the full album, the more I realize how heavy it is. You know what I mean? Like it is really, really heavy. Every message in here is super heavy. And getting to know more about what the songs are actually about brings even more into the heaviness of everything. I still enjoy it, but it's one of those albums, and I hope you don't take this offensively, that like you listen to it once and then you have to like kind of stay away from it for a few minutes and then
Yeah.
listen to it again. If you're one of those people that would feel a lot of things listening
Yeah.
to songs and actually take into the emotions. And I think I've said this to you before, but there are so many one-liners as well that would fit perfectly with merchandise of any kind. Will you remember me? It's like a very cheesy line, but there are so many things where it means something to me, at least. I feel like a lot of people would resonate with some of the messages. Even just one line from the song would be really cool.
So this song is about the same event as I am, but in a different way. This was before it happened. Before I got that pulmonary embolism, I felt like I was gonna die. I felt like I don't know how to explain it. And when I spoke with doctors about this, they said that this is the sense of impending doom. That the patient knows that there's something wrong, like very wrong, but they cannot locate it. It doesn't really hurt anywhere. It's like you just know that there's something that's really, really off. And I had been feeling like this for several days, if not like a couple of weeks. And I wrote this song because I had the certainty that I was going to die. I was like, this is my last song. I'm going to write it. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to release it. I scheduled this to be released December 2023. But this had happened like a few months before, maybe like September, November, I don't remember. Anyways, I finished the song. I'm sure I'm gonna die. Then this thing happens when I almost actually die. Then I don't die. Then I write I am. But this thing was released in December. I had scheduled it. I had forgotten that I had scheduled it. And I received the email saying that my release was live. And I was like, oh yeah, wow. I thought this was going to be my last song. And I already wrote in like 3 songs after this. I didn't really die. And I really took this as a sign that I should do more with this. And that I should do something to get this message out. I took it like a sign from the universe or whatever you want to call it. And this day, I decided to send my demo to a bunch of record labels everywhere. So this is why we met.
It's why we met, due to this song
Due
being
to this
in
song.
existence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool, actually. So at the time, you didn't know if you were going to survive. This was basically your last song, and that was going to be it.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be it. I thought I was going to be gone.
Yeah.
It was going to be released. Well, I was already gone, and that's it.
Well, I'm happy that didn't happen and that we still get, but I mean, you're on the edge the whole time. I know you and we've been talking a whole lot. So things happen in your life that shouldn't be happening. And it feels like someone or something is definitely wanting you to go to the other side quite often.
But also it feels like something or someone is keeping me here, like really wanting to keep me here.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Because there's no reason why I have almost died like 7 times, and I am not joking.
Yeah.
Actually died for a few minutes. We're gonna get into that when we get to that song. But yeah, I have something to do here. They don't want to let me go. Yeah, this is a really, really emotional song, and I get emotional listening to it. It means a lot to me. So this is track number 6, Panic's Prerogative, featuring Panic Guardian, the robot alter ego of Jazz Calls Home. Here we go.
I said this to you before. This is my favorite song from the album. It's wonderfully weird, and it is changes keys like 4 or 5 times. I don't even know how many times, but it is crazy how it changes keys all the time. I really dig this song. It's one of my favorites, or it's actually my favorite from this album at least. But then there are some other ones that people might not have heard yet that are not out that we can
Unreleased.
discuss at a different occasion. But for this album, this one is the best in my opinion.
Yeah, I really like this song. I feel like I really put a lot into this song. And it was because the circumstances that it was written under. So the story behind this song, this one is also something that happened that took me a while to process, and then I wrote the song like way after. I kind of forcefully immigrated into Canada. I was here on vacation. Then it was unsafe for me to return to my country. So I had to file for political asylum. And at that point, I was relatively healthy, but I still had to go under a medical examination because every immigrant needs to go under a medical examination by a government-approved doctor or whatever. And I went through my medical examination, and the doctor was like, "You're healthy, but are you okay?" Like mentally. So she knew that I had gone through a lot of trauma that led to my forceful immigration, and she referred me to mental health services. And if you are a Canadian, you know how bad those are. It's so hard to get them. When you get them, they're not enough. They're not good enough. And if they give them to you, it's because they consider that you really, really messed up and you really, really need them. Basically, I had some sort of therapy that didn't work for like a year. Then I had some other sort of therapy that kind of did something, but not really, for like another year. And I was taking some medication that was like actually not doing anything, and switching it up to see if another medication worked, whatever. And at some point they escalated to a psychiatrist, and if you are Canadian, you know how bad this is. They're like, "Oh my god, they assigned you a psychiatrist," because our system is so underfunded that it has to be bad for it to get there. And the psychiatrist was evaluating me, and at the top of my chart it says that I have autism because I have autism, and it has to be at the top of my chart because they need to treat me like a person with autism. And this is not, I don't know why, I feel like I'm very clearly autistic, but for some people they don't see it unless I tell them. So yeah, this guy told me that he didn't believe that I had autism because I had too many feelings and I had too much empathy. And this pissed me off so much, because that's all I am. I am made of feelings. What you mean? But I'm also made of autism. They're not mutually exclusive. And I found it crazy that somebody like a psychiatrist that should know like the different ways that autism presents itself was telling me this to my face. And this song is basically like this internal struggle, like, okay, so you think I am a machine? You think I feel no pain? Here I am.
Basically, if you don't have the traits of a psychopath, then there is no way you're autistic.
And there's a lot of people that see autistic people as like they don't have any feelings, but it's not because we don't have any feelings. It's because some of us struggle communicating them, like either with facial expressions or like with the tone of voice or whatever. It doesn't mean that we don't have feelings, and it's not a criteria for diagnosis, which a psychiatrist should know. So this is why Panic Guardian is featured, because Panic Guardian is like the more logical, mechanical side of myself. But still within the lore, he develops cognizance and he develops feelings. And it's kind of this aspect of me where people might see me kind of like, this girl is a machine that's not even human. But yes, I am. And this song is tonally unstable. It's shifting keys every couple of bars because I wanted to give it that feeling of emotional instability. And there's also a lot of dissonance going on that kind of like goes in and goes out. It's a very, very emotional song. And the key changes really bring the feeling of you just feeling out of it. I was so angry. But I wrote this banger, so it's okay.
It's all right.
It's alright. It's alright. Thanks, Doc. So this is track 7, called Weird, spelled Wyrdd.
The pieces of your life and try to glue them back. Make out a message from the ones you left behind. You will never be what it was, but maybe if you try, we could spare you. Because when we are here in the weird zone, like I'm singing a language I don't understand, and I said flashing bright on moonlit eyes. I can't see your mind, once you know you have entered the weird zone. Things appear in a way that you don't understand. Feel it touching my skin like a love. I can't see your mind. I can't see your Sitting heavy on my mind. My legs are shaking and I feel I must have died. It's hard to love. You know I've kept my word. I trust that you'll keep yours. Then when my time will come, then maybe if I try, you could spare me. Because when we are here in the weird zone, the girls singing a language I don't understand, the message you write on my moonlit eyes. I can't see your mind, once you know you have entered the weird zone. Things appear in a way that you don't understand. Feel it touching my skin like a love line. I can't see your mind. I can't see your mind. I can't see your Because when we are here in the weird zone, the girls singing a language I don't understand. The lights are flashing bright on my moonlit eyes. I can't see your mind, 'cause you know you have entered the weird zone. Things appear in a way that you don't understand. Feel it touching my skin like a lover. I can't see your mind. Maybe if I try, you could spare me.
For this song being called Weird, it's not really, or I guess it is weird, but it is still Jazz Calls Home. I have a lot of feelings for this song that has nothing to do with the song itself. It's just that this song was presented. We don't have to dig too deep into this, but it was presented to me in a time in my life that was very special, in certain ways. And that's why it has nothing to do with what the song is actually about. It just has to do with the people that I was hanging out with at the time. And again, going back to what I was saying in a previous song, that sometimes I'm getting locked into what I feel about a song and I don't really want to know what it's actually about. I guess I'm going to get to know what it's about now because you're going to explain it in a second. But I like this song. It is special to me. I feel like this is one of the songs that I listen to the most from the album.
But do you want to elaborate on why it is special special to you?
I mean, it is special to me because there is a special person in my life that, like, I listened to the song during that period of time. It's a friend, and the friend was going through something, and the song is, this is going to be so cryptic, and the song is kind of like about something to me that I interpreted that from the song, and it became like the theme song, if you would call it that, for that relationship for a while.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me about this later.
Yeah, this is going to be something we're going to have to talk about, I guess.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this song is about the day that I gave birth to my child. And a lot of
This is a
things.
child for everybody who didn't know.
Jazz has a child. He's really big. He's 2.5
Yeah.
years old and he's gigantic. He's like more than half my height. Yeah, so the day that I gave birth to my child, a lot of things went wrong. I had went into labor 3 days before. So I had already been in labor for 3 days. And he started having cardiac distress from being squished for 3 days straight without coming out. And he didn't want to come out, so they had to do an emergency C-section. During this emergency C-section, okay, so they had done the epidural, which is an injection that they put in your spine, and it's an anesthetic, and you're not supposed to feel anything from your waist below. Because I'm a ginger, I have red hair, we have a higher tolerance for anesthetic. And I told this to the anesthesiologist. And he said, I am not gonna dose you up because you're so small, I'm scared. Basically, he was like, you're too tiny, I'm scared to dose you up because it's better to dose under and then like give a little bit more than overdose and like you die. So I was like, okay. So then I get taken to the operating room and I feel absolutely everything. It was not enough. It was not enough anesthesia. He's there. I'm like, I'm feeling it. He's like, you shouldn't be feeling it. And I'm like, dude, I am feeling it. It hurts. They basically knocked me out and I was like half gone when my baby was actually out and I barely remember like them giving him to me to hold him. Yeah, that was horrible. But it didn't stop there. Then I was in the recovery room and I am still kind of out of it and I feel wet. And I tell the nurse, I'm feeling wet. And she's like, you're high. But then she decides to check and she lifts my blanket and I am bleeding out. And this is because I have a bleeding disorder and I need medication when I have surgery or like an injury to actually clot and like, stop bleeding, which is also in my chart. And they oopsie forgot to give me the medication right after the surgery. So yeah, they stopped the bleeding, they give me the medication. And I actually believe that the pulmonary embolism is related to this because my blood is naturally too thin. It doesn't clot. The fact that I got a pulmonary embolism, a clot that went to my heart shortly after, must have been related to the medication that they gave me to stop this bleeding out. So yeah, it's all tangled together. But yeah, all of these things went wrong. And then they brought me up to the room where I was with my baby and my husband, and I was knocked out. I fell asleep, and I had this dream where these like gigantic glowing figures were dancing around me and putting flowers in my hair and singing in a language that I didn't understand. And I tried to recreate this dream in the music video. Go watch the music video if you're listening. It's really cool. But when I woke up, I had like the phonetics of the language in my head, and I was set up to finding out what language it was. And I found it was Old Norse. And before this, I was kind of trying to reconnect with my ancestry. I am partially Swedish, so I was like, wait, this makes sense.
In my neighborhood.
Yes, in your hood. And I don't know, I took this as a sign too, like that I should really try to reconnect with my Swedish roots more, because it's like one of the parts of myself that I'm the most removed from, just because nobody who's Swedish in my family is still alive. So yeah, it's a really interesting song and it's really hectic, and because it's a really hectic, situation that it's trying to express. But yeah, this is what the song is about. Next up is track number 8, titled Outrunning the Reaper.
I don't think I'm ready to have this conversation yet. I would appreciate if we can speak about this later. I just don't feel like it right now.
You know what I just came to think about this song that would have made it so much cooler, and I'm gonna diss you right now live.
Go for it.
It's not really a diss, it's just something that would be really cool because I vibe with that melody, like that whole thing. If it was in triplets, so
We can do another version.
yeah, I might have to make a metal version of this and make it all in triplets. That would be really cool. No, but seriously though, I really like this melody, and I'm gonna say it again, even though I said it before. You have a very good sense of like making complicated music, because like you said, you have a bachelor's degree and everything in composition, but you have a really good sense of making commercially viable music in a very complicated manner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because the melodies, especially from the vocals, is just like it's very cheesy, if I may say so, sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's still complicated. It still makes sense, and you have a sense of getting it stuck in your head. But it's so complicated still that like I want to listen to it again to understand it.
Yeah.
That was the most complicated explanation ever, but hopefully somebody got that correctly.
I feel like people by listening to it will get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this song is about me dying. I actually died for 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes, and this is why this song is less than 3 minutes long, which is a short song for a jazz cult home song.
I said this album was heavy already. We don't have to like make it heavier.
So yeah, in 2021, I have an autoimmune disease, and I was having a flare up. I was feeling really bad. I was at the hospital, and they decided to give me IV prednisone, which is a corticosteroid anti-inflammatory medicine. And I had a severe allergic reaction to it, which is really weird because it's a really strange allergy. Like, your body produces a cortisol on its own. It's a really rare allergy. But I had such a severe reaction to it that I died for 2 minutes and some. The length of the song is the amount of time that I assumed that I was gone. But the time that I was gone felt like 6 seconds. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like I was there. They had like called a code blue and everything. And then my previous release, the one that I released before this, the intro for that release is called Code Blue, referring to the same event. But yeah, they brought me back. And being dead for almost 3 minutes, what felt like 6 seconds, was like I was in darkness. Absolute darkness, and it was warm, and it was nice, and it was comfortable, and it was not long enough. I know it sounds morbid, but it felt like it wasn't enough. It was so nice. And then I was brought back, and all of the pain and all of the lights were really bright, and it was horrible. But then I kind of came to terms that I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to die. I'm not supposed to die, really. Like, there's no way all of this is happening, and I'm not dying for real. So this is a song that I wrote to death itself, the Reaper. And it's me telling him, listen, you can take me whenever, but I know that you won't. You have some plans for me or something. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Whenever you want to take me, I'm ready. Basically, this is the experience. And that little bit at the beginning was actually a voice note that I sent to a friend of mine, because she knew that I had gone through all of this. And she was like, Jazz, you need to talk about this. You cannot bottle this up. Because it took me a while to be able to even like discuss it. So this is a voice note that I sent her, like, no, I can't do this right now, girl. I can't talk about this right now, maybe later. And it took me like literally like 2 years to be able to talk about it and kind of like be okay with it and process it and all of these things. But this is what this song is about. And it's a really cool song in the sense that it has no structure whatsoever. It has like a verse that repeats itself twice. And it has that little voice note at the start, and that's it.
Is that you talk in the beginning?
Yeah.
Just like that's the voice note that you made?
Mm-hmm. So I
Wow.
took that from that time, I downloaded it, and I dragged it into the project because I wanted to have something from that time in there.
Cool.
Okay, so next track is track number 9, and it's called You Promised.
Plotting your next crime, chasing a strange high. You said you promised, said you promised, said
This song has this really Second World War. Damn, that sounds heavy. Second World War ending was like the doo, doo, that end chord thing, strings and
The
everything. It's like
strings.
the
Yeah.
end of a really heavy Second World War movie. Anyways, funny anecdote about this song. You mentioned this before that I was actually the one that gave feedback to this song, and I wouldn't put it through to the last round or for the master. I can't remember if it was the master, maybe, where I said the vocals had sort of like fart noises towards the end of the song, and it ended up with you having to re-record the whole song just because I didn't agree that that it sounded good. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
sorry about that.
basically what happened is that when I recorded this song, I did not use a pop filter. And sometimes I do this because I want more air. And I move my head when I want to breathe and all of these things, right? But there were a few that passed me. And the way that I record my vocals is I sing the entire song. I don't do comping. I don't do, like, of course, if there's like layers and harmonies and all of that, yeah, I'll record those bits. But the main vocals are always like one take, and this is how I do it. So I re-recorded the entire thing to remove the fart. But this song is the first song that I wrote for this album, and I felt like it was once all of the songs were written and everything, I felt like it was a fitting closing song because it kind of encompassed those feelings of all of the things that I had gone through, and like of the despair of just like everything is so bad, everything went so wrong. And at first when I wrote this song, I was like a few days postpartum, and the hormones, oh my god, that's messed up. But also when I wrote it, I thought it was about a specific person, and the more that I worked on it, I realized that it has been like it's something that happens sometimes, that in your life you tend to encounter like the same type of person over and over and over till you learn your lesson, right? It's like you meet a different version of the same person, like the same person in a different body, and they have the same issues and all of this. And for me, this person that keeps popping up is somebody that talks a lot and doesn't do a lot, and somebody that cannot keep their word, somebody that's like really good on paper, really clean, really neat, but like underneath it's all messed up. And I've always had this issue with people not keeping their word. It's like one of the worst things for me. Like, if you're gonna say that you're gonna do something, actually do it, then don't say it. And I encounter this over and over, and then like in different types of relationships, like personal relationships, in my family, in like the government that I had to deal with, the government things, with the doctors. And there was like a version of this person that's like good on paper, but then you get a little bit deeper and it's all messed up, and like you cannot really trust anything that they say. And because this was the first song that I wrote, I don't know if you noticed, but the title of the album is in this song, in the lyrics. There's a moment where it says
I didn't notice that.
you just have to cut the line, cut the strings it's over. So I felt like it was a good closing track, and it was also a good way to pick the title of the album from, because it was the first song that I wrote. It is the song that closes the album. It kind of encompasses all of these feelings that I've had with dealing with people of this sort. And the whole meaning behind Cut the Line was like, I realized I am now aware I can cut this string, I can break this pattern, I don't have to keep bringing this sort of situation into my life. I kind of like yielded. Since then, when I've encountered it, when I've encountered this with people, when they say something and they don't do it, I'll just say it like, hey, I don't like that. Don't do that to me. And it kind of stopped that cycle of people like constantly doing this to me. Just because previously I was just taking it, But yeah, I feel like now in every instance of my life, I'm not taking it anymore. The line is cut. So yeah, this is a great closing track. How do you feel about that?
No, I feel good about that. I like the explanation. I mean, I know you, so I noticed these things, and also what you said previously. Can't remember to what song, but the autism thing. We might not have to like dive deep into it, but I've noticed all these things with you. I think it's very obvious, and I know you don't take any offense to it, so that's why I can say it very openly. But it makes sense. It makes total sense knowing you better as well. But I think this is something that most people would not notice because it's not super obvious from the very beginning.
Yeah, and it's also something that, I don't know, people have an idea of what autistic people are like, just because most people's experience with autism is like the 6-year-old boy that has like really, really high needs autism, cannot even speak, and is banging his head against the wall. So it's not obvious to a lot of people that I experience the world differently. Also because I'm hyperverbal, I speak a lot, and I am extremely sociable, which is weird for an autistic person. I'm probably like the most sociable extroverted autistic person ever to exist. This is where the title of the album came from. I repeat this line to cut the line in special delivery, and it's a nice way to close the album. So let's go for the outro.
Yes.
So this is the closing track, and the outro, track number 10. It is called Saline Solution or Carbon-Based Problems.
Torn and rotten, dark, grey, weak and sad. I cannot take us back there. It's true I'm broken, crushed out. There's nothing wrong with that. If for some reason I want to come back home, don't erase my memories before I go. And if I became human again, 1,000 years from now, I won't be caught. Wasting my time. Being alone. Being alone.
I think I know what this one is about or what he's trying to say, but I'll let you say it anyways.
No, I would actually want to hear what you think this is about before I go
you
into
sure?
it. Yes.
I think a lot of stuff that you're writing is, I mean, everything is about your life pretty much. So there is no secret to that. But I do think that it's about the reason why you're no longer in your home country.
Yes, partially.
Is it? Yeah.
Partially. It's it's also a little bit of the intro. The intro and the outro are connected. Musically, it's basically one track. So if you put them together, like if you listen to the intro and the outro, it's seamless, like if it was only one track. And there's this theme of really how lonely I became by moving here and how hard it was to immigrate without wanting to really, because it's different if you're like planning to move somewhere else and that you really want it, and like, you know, you plan it, you want it, and you pick the place, and it all happened like against my will pretty much, and I had to adapt to a lot of things. Thankfully it wasn't that bad, but this is really about me at the end of this album realizing that a lot of my loneliness was self-inflicted. I was keeping myself from socializing. I was keeping myself from making connections with people. And I didn't want to do that again, basically. So this is the moment that I decided that I was going to open myself to people again, because I spent a lot of time kind of guarding myself just because of the trauma that I had gone through. And this was like the end of 2023. And my New Year's resolution for 2024 was to make friends. And I did it.
And you did it?
I did it. I made new friends in 2024. And
Nice.
it was nice. It was like I realized that yes, this was something that I was keeping myself from having. It was not entirely like imposed on me by fate or whatever that I was feeling so lonely. If I had put myself out there, I would have to find somebody that I can feel that I can have a friendship with, and it's fine, and it was fine. And the thing, like my chaotic side of my brain from the PTSD, it didn't like nothing collapsed. It was fine. Nothing went wrong, and this was just me opening myself up to the possibility of having human interaction again. And this is the closing track of the album, and it has a clue about the next one. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
This was my album breakdown. I am Jazz Calls Home. The album is titled Cut the Line. You can listen to it anywhere where you listen to music. You can also request it on your local radio station. And thank you to Chris for letting us do this album breakdown on his show.
Very nice. Thanks to Chris. Thanks to you, Jazz. Not so much thanks to me. Yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of everything.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you for doing this with me.
happy to be, of course.